In companies, operation managers have to design their operating model by making a number of important decisions. On the one hand, they have to decide which activities should be performed internally and which ones should be outsourced. And on the other hand, which activities should be performed centrally or locally. Operation managers also have to decide if the different departments have to be organized by geography, by product, or by functions. So many decisions depending on so many variables. Let me show you a couple of examples where Lean can support. Probably one of the most important decisions operation managers have to make is about which activities should be performed internally and which ones should be outsourced. Outsourcing is a common practice, even at your individual level. When you go to the restaurant, you outsource making dinner. You can also outsource the ironing of your shirt to the dry cleaners. At any time you decide to perform the activity yourself or to outsource it based on cost and quality. This is almost unconscious. You set the quality level you want to reach, the quality of food for your dinner, the neatness of your shirts, and then you estimate the cost in terms of money and time that it would require to you to do it yourself. And finally, you make your decision. It is the same concept in business. You set the quality level you want to reach, then you estimate if the activity can be performed internally and if the related cost is lower than the cost of a specialized company would ask for it. And finally, you decide which activity should be outsourced. Now, you know that the more wasteful the process, the higher its cost. Therefore, companies tend to outsource processes that are not under control because they think the quality level cannot be met internally and the related cost to perform this process internally is too high. This is a very common pitfall because outsourcing should not be the solution of a process problem. Outsourcing a broken process can decrease labor cost in the very short term, but it will also decrease dramatically customer satisfaction and increase hidden costs. I often hear, it used to take me 1 day to do it, now it takes me 1 day to ask to do it. Again, this is where Lean comes into play. It is crucial for operation managers to design their operating model. The Lean approach should be applied before outsourcing in order to fix processes, analyze real internal costs, compare costs to external companies, and finally make a decision. Amazon is an emblematic example, since the company insources most operations, even transportation, because their level of efficiency allows them to reach the highest level of quality at the lowest cost by themselves. The other important decision that operations managers have to make is which activities should be performed centrally and which ones should be performed locally. Again, this is all about understanding the value stream. For each value-added activity, they need to identify the critical to value factor, that is to say, the most important tool or mean or competency to create the expected value, and understand if it can be centralized or not. For example, to analyze risk of a mortgage, the critical to value factor is the knowledge of real estate market and the capacity to measure risk of solvency by looking at the revenues, expense, and working stability of the individuals. To some extent, this can be centralized. But to analyze the risk of funding a small or medium business, you need to visit the offices, meet managers, and eventually employees, eventually test the products, and so on. And this can obviously not be centralized. As you can see, the Lean approach can really help to design better operating models for your company.